Since the beginning of what we lived through in 2020, what was named a global health crisis, something has been sitting just beneath the surface. Not confusion, not lack of information, recognition. People watched decisions being made that affected every aspect of their lives: movement, work, connection, access, choice. People watched narratives form, shift, and solidify. People watched entire populations reorganize overnight. And now, years later, with everything that has surfaced, everything that has been questioned, everything that has been seen from multiple angles, there has been no real accountability that matches the scale of what occurred. No pause that reflects the magnitude. No visible consequence that closes the loop. And more than that, everything continued anyway. That's the part that doesn't resolve. Because it's not meant to. You're not watching a system fail to hold itself accountable. You're watching a system reveal what it actually protects. And it's not you. It's not fairness. It's not truth. It's not even consistency. It's continuity. The structure doesn't break itself to prove integrity. It sustains itself to preserve control. So when something happens that should fracture trust, the response isn't correction, it's absorption. Language softens. Focus redirects. New information enters before the previous layer is ever fully acknowledged. Not because the past was resolved, but because it was bypassed. And the body feels that. Even if the mind tries to move on, the nervous system registers the gap. Because it expects something simple, that actions of that scale would carry visible consequence. But when that consequence never arrives, something shifts internally. People begin to question their own perception. They minimize what they saw. They tell themselves they must not have the full picture. Not because they're incapable, but because the external world offered no reflection back. That's how internal distortion begins. Not through force, but through absence. And over time, something deeper settles in. The expectation of accountability dissolves. Wrong no longer guarantees consequence. Impact no longer guarantees response. And instead of rejecting that, most people slowly reorganize around it. They normalize what should have never been normalized. Not because they agree, but because nothing in the external field confirms that resistance would land anywhere. That's where the deeper control sits. Not in overt restriction, not in visible force, in the quiet conditioning that tells you, this is just how it is. But it isn't. It's how it's been allowed to be, repeatedly, consistently, without interruption. And that repetition teaches the body something, where the limits are and where they aren't. Because once that expectation sets in, the system doesn't have to enforce anything. It's already been integrated. But something is changing now. Not outside, inside. Because more people are noticing the gap, the lack of closure, the absence of consequence, the way everything moved forward without ever resolving what came before. And that recognition doesn't collapse you. It clarifies you. You stop waiting for the system to validate what you already know. You stop expecting resolution from a structure that sustains itself by withholding it. And you begin to hold your own line, not loudly, not performatively, but steadily. without needing their acknowledgement to confirm your reality. The absence of accountability was never the oversight. It was the signal. And whether people want to admit it or not, the system showed you exactly what it will protect. The only question now is, what will you protect in yourself? If something in this spoke to you, you can go deeper with the full written piece on Substack at tendingtheinbetween.substack.com.